Before it starts, I want you to know that I don't own the story or Game of Thrones. If I did, maybe it would have ended with another king on the throne.
Born to be great. Chapter 2, From the Ashes We Will Rise. 284a.c. Dragonstone. The former queen, Rhaella Targaryen, escaped from King's Landing just before the hosts of Tywin Lannister could enter to the city. The travel to Dragonstone was very fast. It was like the gods gave the favorable winds. They reached Dragonstone at the same time that she felt the first contractions. Sir Willem d'Ary, the master-at-arms of the Red Keep, took her to one of the royal chambers, followed by the midwives of Dragonstone. "It looks like a storm is hovering over us," Sir Willem said. The night looked very complicated with the situation. The storm was like a gift and a curse from the gods. It would give time for the birthing of the new royal child and would stop any ship sent to chase them. But it would slow them down when they tried to fled towards Essos. Westeros wasn't a safe place anymore. King Aerys was dead, killed by one of his own guards, Sir Jaime Lannister, Kingslayer. They should never have trust in a Lannister. Sir Willem's mind was full of rage and fears. He wasn't a king's guard, but in honor of his shopping mode brother, he would protect the queen and her children from anyone that desired to hurt them. The storm grew bigger at every second. The sound of thunders and rain filled the castle corridors. But the queen's screams, filled with pain and anguish, suddenly started to win against the Mother Nature. And for a moment Sir Willem thought that a dragon was screaming just behind the door he was guarding. He prayed for his queen. She had suffered too much already in the claws of her husband. Anyone in the Red Keep could listen to her screams when the king desired to visit his wife in her chambers. After many hours of pain and screaming, when Rhaella's head was numbed by the pain, the wails of a newborn filled the room and the castle. It was a little girl. The midwives handed the little girl to the queen. "You're a beautiful little one, don't you?" Rhaella's gaze was filled with pure love. She never loved her husband, but her children were a different matter. They were an extension of herself. They were her own blood. "Does our new princess have a name, Your Grace?" Sir Willem asked, his lips curled, showing a little smile to his queen and his new princess. "Her name is Daenerys, Daenerys Stormborn of House Targaryen," she replied, showing how proud she was of her newborn daughter. After a few days, the queen made her way to the throne room of Dragonstone, where a big throne made of dragon glass rose. And before all her remaining subjects, she named the little Viserys Targaryen as the new king of the Seven Kingdoms. The little boy was smiling, unaware of the real situation of his family. Rhaella saw the smile of her son, and a shiver traveled through her spine. Though Viserys was just a boy, she was able to recognize the smile of a madman. It was the same smile of her husband. Suddenly Rhaella realized that her little boy could be destined to suffer the same shopping mode fate of his late father. She wasn't guilty of her son's state. She tried to protect him, but her husband made him his heir after many fights and discussions with Rhaegar. Aerys made of Viserys his living copy. He made him witness the execution of many people, each execution worse than the previous. Any person would lose his mind after witnessing how a son strangled himself just to save his father from burning alive. But her son's madness needed to wait, at least until they were in Bravos. They weren't safe in Dragonstone. They would never be safe again, not while Tywin Lannister and the usurper, Robert Baratheon, were alive and looking for their heads. "Sir Willem, make sure that everything and everyone are ready to leave. The usurper's ships are close," Rhaella commanded. She wasn't a leader. She never wanted to be one. But if her children were under danger, she was capable of fight even the gods with her bare hands just to keep them safe. "Everything is ready, Your Grace. We will set sail in a few hours," Sir Willem replied. "Good," she said. "I don't want to be here more than necessary." While she was feeding Daenerys, and Viserys played with a rag ball, The master arrived with a sealed scroll. A raven from Starfall has arrived, Your Grace. Rhaella was confused. Starfall remained loyal to House Targaryen just as the rest of Dawn. But Sir Arthur was probably dead by that moment. The master handed her the letter and bowed before leaving. She saw the sigil that sealed the scroll. It was the sigil of House Dane. Suddenly she felt like if the world stopped while she was reading the letter. Your Grace, I wrote this letter to tell you that Prince Rhaegar and Princess Lyanna are dead. I have failed you, but I will not fail to our prince. I hope to see you again, but it would be safer for each of us to remain distant for some time. I hope that you could find the strength to face this adversity. Sir Arthur Dane. Rhaella felt that her world was crumbling down to the ground. Her son told her about his plan back in Harrenhal, but she thought that it was just a joke at first. But when he and the young Stark girl left Harrenhal, something told her about the incoming storm that would be released for their reckless actions. And now I have another grandson, she thought. She wanted to change course. What kind of grandmother would leave her son's baby alone and surrounded by enemies? She didn't care about keeping the line pure. But Sir Arthur was protecting him. Maybe, in a couple of years he could be able to follow them to Essos with her grandson. But in the moment a whole army was between her and this boy. I only hope that you could forgive me, my dear. A couple of tears fall in the letter. A bitter taste filed Rhaella's mouth as the bile traveled up her throat. Fighting the tears, she walked to the boat. Someday, my little boy, I'll see you. I will bring your family back to you, that I promise. She wasn't sure if the boy and Arthur could make it until their return, but there wasn't any other choice. They set sail to Essos after that. It was a long road, but her children made it more comfortable. She had to take care of Viserys and herself. They weren't used to long travels in the sea. They had to fought with the nausea every time they ate. Luckily the little Daenerys was getting stronger with every day. She was stronger than her older shopping mode brother at the same age. She's a miracle, Rhaella thought while she looked at her in the little cradle. But at the same time she remembered the letter of Sir Arthur, and she felt anguished by her own actions. If I look back, I am lost, she told to herself. But looking back was looking to her grandson and the rightful heir to the Iron Throne. She told Viserys about Rhaegar's son during their travel, and he didn't took her words in the best way. He began a tantrum that left without voice and tears for 2 weeks. Viserys forgave her mother after she told him that his little nephew didn't have an assured claim to the throne. After all, his birth was the cause of one of the biggest wars that any man in Westeros could have seen. His nephew was just a bastard for him, even if his shopping mode brother was married to her mother. He wasn't a pure Targaryen. He had nothing to prove himself as a trueborn son of the crown prince beside his natural attributes. But he, Viserys of House Targaryen, had many things to probe his identity as son of King Aerys too. He had his mother who would never doubt to support him over a half-blood Targaryen, and he had his little sister. Nobody would deny him his birthright if he was also married to the late king's daughter. A sinister smirk took form in his mouth. He was just a boy, but he had seen how a truly dragon king acted, burning his enemies and not allowing small mercies. I am the blood of the dragon, and dragons answer to no one. His gaze darkened, and he remained looking at the sea. After many weeks sailing they finally reached the docks of Braavos. Now the plan was easy. Sir Willem had a little house in the city. It would be a safe place for them, at least for now. Nobody would recognize them in Essos. They walked through the streets where merchants were yelling and offering their products to any pedestrian that walked near their posts. The whores were doing the same, but they were standing next to the alleyways of the street. They walked and walked until they reached a small house with a red door and a lemon tree. I know it's not a castle, but it will bring you safety and commodity, Your Grace, Sir Willem said in an apologizing tone. It doesn't matter, my lord. You have made more sacrifice than anyone for us. It's better than sleep in the streets. Rhaella replied politely. The man protected them in the ship and in the streets. How could she not be grateful? Once they were established in the house, Rhaella took a bath. It was the only time she had for herself, and the only time when she could meditate and take decisions about her future and the future of her children. This was the first step to return home, now that she was safe, for now. But it sounded easier than it was. We need an army. But to get an army we need gold. Maybe if I present myself and my son to the Iron Bank they could support our cause. She thought, but her common sense reminded her of what was her son. They would never support the Mad King's son, and they could already have an agreement with the new king. Suddenly she felt how the sleep took shopping mode control over her body. Dreamed about a little boy with dark brown hair, it could be black, and he had grey eyes. They were so dark that made her remind her late son's eyes. Suddenly the boy looked at her. His face was full of bitterness and fear. He turned around and left the place followed by a white giant wolf, and she was able to hear a screech in the air, and the sound of wings beating the air. She felt a warm sensation and turned around to see a young girl with silver hairs and amethyst eyes. They shone like torches lighting the way. She was about to touch her when the wail of a baby woke her up. She took Daenerys from her cradle, and she brought her to her chest. She was a quiet baby, just like Rhaegar was. Rhaella saw the little amethyst eyes of her daughter, and she felt many emotions. You are going to be the most beautiful princess of this world, and I will make sure to take care of you and protect you, even if it costs me my life. After saying that, she felt that she could achieve any goal for the sake of her children. I will take you back to your home, and I will make them pay with fire and blood. Her gaze was full of fury. She didn't want the throne. She wanted the head of those who almost got her family destroyed.